This is the magic formula I always recommend to new puppy parents, and it's what I've used with all of my dogs, including Lady, the newest foster puppy. Now, when your dog is young, you should be, number 1, working on leash skills at home as part of structured training sessions. Number 2, add in positive exposure sessions to introduce your dog to new sights, sounds, and smells. And number 3, introduce decompression walks for low impact exploring. Now, these are all done on a long leash with a back clip harness. Number 4, ensure sufficient mental exercise, which includes things like training, brain games for dogs, puzzle toys, chewing, licking, and sniffing. And number 5, consider puppy playdates with the appropriate match, which are a great choice but are often shorter than you might think. I know that might sound like a lot, but puppies are a lot. Did you know that you can cause lifelong injuries if you exercise your young puppy too much? But did you also know that the lack of outdoor activity early on in life can definitely lead to a timid and unconfident puppy? But how much exercise does a puppy need daily? How much is too much and how much is enough? Well, we've got the answers for you in today's video, and some of them might surprise you. Thanks to some great advances in canine research recently, we've actually got a lot more information about how dogs think and learn and how best to train them. These puppy training methods are far better than what you might have experienced when you had a family dog growing up. So I want you to buckle up, because we've got some good stuff to discover about puppy exercise today. Oh, and I also have a really easy formula how you can exercise your puppy in the best way possible. Okay, so from a purely physical perspective, you want to avoid too many repetitive movements when your puppy's not fully grown. So your puppy's growth plates are still forming, and too much of the same motion can actually cause tiny hairline fractures. Now, your puppy probably won't alert you that it's happening because they don't even know it's happening themselves. But fast forward a few years down the line and you're going to be visiting the vet for irreversible damage. And those fractures, they're going to be around forever. We usually see them show up at around 1 to 2 years of age, which is too late to do much about it. That's why when people ask me, when can my puppy go hiking? I usually have to give them the bad news that any kind of long hiking should actually wait until the puppy is fully grown. The same goes for dog agility. The experts on canine growth and puppy development recommend no more than 5 minutes of hard, strenuous exercise per month of age, twice a day. So that means an 8-week-old puppy could theoretically go on a 10-minute walk twice a day. I said theoretically, because just because you can doesn't mean you should. Now, I'm going to get back to that in just a moment. So please don't head out on a neighborhood walk with your 8-week-old puppy until you've heard my suggestions on this. The growth plates that are still forming in your young puppy have to be protected from other physical exercise too. This is why we never play or run on the stairs with a young dog. Now, it's totally fine for a dog to use the stairs as part of everyday life, such as going inside or outside the house to get to the potty spot. But you should never throw a ball for a dog to run up and down the stairs. And in fact, it's really best to teach the dog to go down the stairs slowly, touching every single stair. I do have a video all about teaching stairs, along with 50 other puppy training games in my online course. If you've been following my awesome advice over on Instagram, you've seen the fun that we have with flirt holes. But we always keep them on the ground and never make the dog jump for the toy. Same reason, growth joints and growth plates. Okay, so we got that covered. Bottom line is, don't do excessive repetitive activities until your dog is fully grown. But what about dogs becoming timid if we don't get them outside? Yes, this is an important point that I want to make. Now, your dog is learning new things about the world around them more in the first 16 weeks of their life than at any other time. During the first 16 weeks, your dog is naturally positive about new things. So this is the time to expose him in a positive way to things he's going to run into for life. This actually helps your dog have confidence and accept new things with positivity and curiosity and no stress. But if you wait until vaccinations are complete to start taking him out into the world, you've actually missed the critical window, and your dog will naturally approach new things with a lot more suspicion. 16 weeks of age isn't a light switch, but the younger the dog is, the better the chance you have of developing a natural confidence for a lifetime. That is, if you expose your puppy to new things in the right way. If you want to know the right way, just check out the description below this video for a great video I have on this topic. It's free. It's right here on the YouTube channel. So now you know you can exercise your young puppy within some physical limits to protect his body, and it's important to get him out into the world. However, neighborhood walks should not be your first thought when it comes to getting your pup some exercise or getting your pup exposed to the world around him. You see, just because your dog is capable of walking doesn't mean he's ready for the skills associated with a neighborhood walk. A neighborhood walk is actually a pretty complex activity. The dog needs to have some puppy leash training skills so he doesn't pull you down the street. He's going to need to have some confidence about the world, especially because neighborhoods are usually filled with strange and new stimuli to your puppy, even if it seems pretty quiet to you. And your puppy needs to know not to put everything in his mouth. So if you have a young puppy, you're probably thinking, we are nowhere near figuring those skills out just yet. And of course you aren't. These are the things that take practice and time and training and a lot of patience. So does that mean you should stay home? Nope, that's not the answer. But you might be thinking a puppy who isn't getting enough exercise might be a handful. Am I right? Well, the answer lies somewhere in between. So I want you to create a good schedule with a good balance of activities. Now, when your puppy's young, you can give him exercise for those short time frames in a lot of different ways. Some of these options include, number 1, active games like chasing the human or chasing the flirt pole or fetch. Number 2, playing with another dog or another puppy. Number 3, a decompression walk. Number 4, one of the many DIY toys that we have shared with you on this channel. You'd be surprised at how short these activities really should be. Some dogs can't even last 5 minutes at the activity without getting overstimulated. I recently fostered a cute little rescue we called Lady. Lady and my older dog Pickles had a pretty compatible play style, but I noticed that their threshold for puppy play was just about 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah, that's it, that's all. After that time, Lady did her telltale pouncy bouncy behavior, which means she was overstimulated. Around the same time, Pickles had decided he had enough of this puppy energy and he needed to bow out. So we watched the schedule and we built in 1 or 2 short play sessions for the 2 of them each day. Then, the entire time Lady was with me, she did not get any neighborhood walks. No, she wasn't ready. Instead, she got play dates with Pickles, short and quiet decompression walks, leash skill work inside and then in my driveway, and lots of mental exercise, like the training games from our online course. Lady's energy needs were well met. Last night on a Zoom call, I was advising one of our pro-level students about her 13-week-old puppy. She said he could never settle. Not for training sessions or potty breaks or really anything. She felt like he needed more dog exercise to make him tired. We also had another student on the call, very similar, but they had an older dog. He was 18 months old. It was a standard poodle, and he seemed to have energy all day long. He was looking for some more tips on more activities he could do to tire out the puppy. An older dog who acts more like a hyper puppy? So each of these situations is slightly different, but for both of those students, I actually suggested that their dogs may not need what they think they need. So in fact, if your dog seems to have endless energy, more energetic activity is actually the opposite of what we recommend. So if you haven't heard of this yet, now's the time I need to tell you about canine enrichment. It's important to balance out physical energy with some mental exercise. And in fact, the brain requires to solve problems or process new smells is actually 3 times as tiring as physical exercise like playing fetch. And if you think that the decompression walks sound like a lot of boring meandering on a very long leash, I want you to think again. Boring walks for humans are actually perfect walks for dogs. The dog is able to sniff and explore and process all the new information, leading to a great nap when you guys get home. So, my best case scenario of young puppy exercise is made up of several components. This is the magic formula I always recommend to my new puppy parents. And it's what I've used with all of my dogs, including Lady, the newest foster puppy. So, when your dog is young, you should work on leash skills at home as part of structured training sessions, add in positive exposure sessions to introduce your dog to new sights, sounds, and smells, introduce decompression walks for low impact exploring, and they're actually done on a long leash with a back clip harness. I also want you to ensure sufficient mental exercise, which includes things like training, brain games for dogs, puzzle toys, chewing, licking, and sniffing, and I also want you to consider the puppy play dates with the appropriate match are also a great choice, but are often shorter than you think. I'm a dog trainer and even I got pretty tired with the schedule that we had to keep with Lady, but we all knew it was just temporary, but very necessary. So we got through it. So now that you're ready to build in some healthy, but not excessive physical exercise for puppies into your pup's day, you're gonna need to know that the final piece of the puzzle is the cool down routine. After stimulating activities, you might have a puppy who has a hard time settling. Now, you might even have some sad puppy crying or puppy biting. Pups are hardwired to be excitable, and it can be difficult to get them to settle when the activity is done. We created a great cool down routine with Lady, and we still use it with our older dogs, Pickles and Wesley. The routine allows the dogs to settle the brain and the body, and it's perfect to use before naps or at night. So if you haven't added a relaxing cool down routine to your puppy's activities, you're going to want to use the next video to help you with calming tools and activities. And when you found the magic set of activities to tire out your dog, you can thank me in the comments. All right, this is Michelle, your favorite online dog trainer, signing off for today.